Buddy Lazier has just made a pit stop and goes back out onto the racetrack as we are nearing the end of this caution period. So he ran as many laps as he could under the caution and then came in to get topped off. We're on board with Mark Dismore here, who is in 10th place, but he is a lap down to the field.
Well, what we're seeing, Bob, is some of the leaders have made a pit stop already. Montoya's leading, but he hasn't made a pit stop, so it'll be interesting to see if he takes advantage of this yellow.
They have one more lap before green, and I think that move by Buddy Lazier is going to be very significant later.
Down to Jackaroo.
Well, let's ask Chip Ganassi, why didn't you call Montoya in this time by, Chip?
Jack, we just pitted about 6 laps before the yellow, so we really didn't burn down much fuel. So
even I can do the math on that one, guys.
Well, the Ganassi drivers are running first and second at the moment. Montoya, Vassar, then Robbie McGee, Dare. There's Ayrton Dare right there in that purple and yellow car. He's done an outstanding job running in the 4th position. He started back in 20th. Salazar is 5th, followed by Ward, Gordon, Cheever, Lazier. Those are the 9 cars on the lead lap, and Dismore, as we said, is in 10th, 1 lap down. And they will come down to get the signal of 1 more lap to go.
Well, Bob, we showed the graphic where Salazar has actually had the fastest lap. Some of that could be the leader is out by himself. He doesn't have the chance to draft off anybody. So these guys in the back of the pack can pick up the draft, and that may be some of the reason Salazar hasn't led, but he's had the fastest lap.
We have a new procedure this year. You notice that the pace car is already pulled off the racetrack. The drivers were told that the pace car would pull off when the 1 more lap signal was given, so that there would be no more passing of the pace car. As we have seen in the past, the pace of the restart determined by the leader of the race. He can pick up the throttle between turns 3 and 4.
And Bob, that really got a rise out of Chip Ganassi. All he saw was his driver passing the pace car, and he kept yelling, "Don't pass the pace car! Don't pass the pace car!" And then he realized that it was a rule change. He feels a lot better now.
Well,
I'm sure he does, and he's picking it up right here, coming out of 3.
Well, you see Dismore is a lap down right behind the leader, so it'll be interesting to see if he can give Montoya any stuff to try to get that lap back, Bob.
Here they come to the green flag, and we're back to racing at Indianapolis on the 85th lap.
There's
That's
Scott
Sharp.
He's also trying to get his lap back, so the Kelly cars are determined to get by Montoya and get back on the lead lap.
And Scott Goodyear would also like to get a lap back. He is in 12th position.
Well, these guys are all guys that stop, so they can stretch it a little farther on this next pit window. This is going to be interesting to see how this develops.
Single file down the backstretch into turn number 3. There is Goodyear running 12th.
That's the yellow car.
Just looking out of the back of Scott Sharp's car. Got a good run onto the main straightaway. Behind him is Jason Leffler, running good, clean today.
Again, that's the red and yellow car. That's Scott Sharp, followed by Jason Leffler. That's in the Penske-sponsored car, actually, and we actually saw Roger down there in the front straightaway before the race started.
It's another Treadway car. The other 2 cars, Robbie McGee running in 3rd place right now, and Raul Boisel.
United Auto Group Special, driven by Jason Leffler. Here is Jimmy Vassar, who is back here right behind that group of cars, running in the 2nd position.
Right behind him is Robbie McGee with Treadway Racing.
Let's go back to our race fuel position. Go back to your race fuel position.
And the reason why Robbie McGee is up running so high, they have had great fuel mileage also from Comtech engines, and that's why he's running there. But now the handling is, they've got the handling dialed in the first couple of pit stops, and Robbie McGee is actually closing in right here on Jimmy Vassar. Look for a pass.
McGee has indeed gotten good mileage. He was one of the last to pit on the first round of stops and also the second, and now he charges toward Jimmy Vassar but cannot pass as Eliseo Salazar up ahead tries to pass a slower car and unable to do so in the north end.
And we'll have another traffic situation, giving us some passing opportunities here for the guys coming up on that slower traffic.
Well, timing of the traffic is just so critical. You just can't afford to get up behind them in the middle of the corner. You got to get a run on them on that exit.
And you have to be a little bit lucky too, because sometimes you can't let off and time it right because the guy behind you will pass you. So it's a matter of getting a little lucky on that.
Robbie McGee driving the Meyer Energizer Advanced Formula Mall.com G-Force.
Bob Jenkins, you mentioned Robbie McGee's fuel mileage. I talked to Skip Ball a moment ago. They feel like they're getting maybe the best fuel mileage of anyone in the top 5 or 6. They have gone 34 laps on their previous stop. And as already mentioned, they made an air pressure adjustment to fix a push in the car and a bit of a front wing change. And now Robbie has been told to simply ride and learn and save some fuel. This may be a really good day for Robbie McGee and Team Treadwell.
Well, it's just about 4:30 Eastern Time. We welcome you to the Indianapolis 500. If you're just joining us, 88 laps are completed. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with former Indy 500 winners Tom Sneva and Arie Luyendyk. Juan Montoya is leading this race over his teammate Jimmy Vasser, with McGee, Dare, and Salazar the top 5. We have had a couple of crashes, one involving Greg Ray that has eliminated him from contention, and also the 2 women in the race, Lynn St. James and Sarah Fisher, were taken out in the same accident. Now again, we see McGee with a good run this time on Jimmy Vasser as they come down the front straightaway.
Yeah.
McGee is to the right and Vasser to the left, and coming down to the end of the straightaway, McGee gets the spot.
And Jimmy had to get out of the throttle big time coming out of turn 4, picked up a push from the car ahead of him.
Again, that dirty air we talk about, if you get up underneath them too tight, you lose that downforce on the front wings, and the car wants to go right to the wall.
And here's Dare moving past Donnie Beechler. Dare running in 4th place is just running great today, coming through past Donnie Beechler with Salazar following him through.
And that is a battle for position between Dare and Salazar for the 4th spot. Eliseo, who has run the fastest lap of the race so far, is closing in on the 4th place Dare.
Well, you can see where he started and where he's at now, Bob. This is a tremendous effort by a rookie driver.
And he showed really well in Vegas. He was leading the race before gearbox problems put him out of the race. But we've got the car champion in front, Rookie of the Year last year, Robbie McGee in 2nd place, Vasser 3rd, and Dare 4th. Great battles going on here.
Dare driving the Team Extreme USAcredit.com, freeinternet.com G-Force, and is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, making his home in Miami right now, and certainly an impressive driver in the first 3 races of the year, and he's been very impressive here in his 4th race today at Indianapolis. In his previous performances, he's finished 11th at Orlando, 22nd at Phoenix, and 14th at Las Vegas, despite the gearbox problem that he experienced while leading.
So many talented
And this Ayrton Dare just signed a multi-year extension this week with Team Extreme, so obviously the team getting its money's worth today out of the 22-year-old. As you mentioned, he started on the outside row of row 7. That's all the way back in the 21st position, and you see he's made his way all the way up toward the front. A lot of smiles in the Team Extreme pit box.
So many talented drivers from Brazil and from South America for that matter. Montoya, now Dare, Salazar, one of them, and many more. Dare is actually closing in a little bit on Jimmy Vasser to take that 3rd place, so we keep an eye on that. Robbie McGee pulled away a little bit from Jimmy and is solid in 2nd place right now. And those guys of Treadway Racing have always had great fuel mileage. Comtech really doing a good job for them, and that could still be a key in this race.
On board with Buddy Lazier, and he tries to pass a slower car. Lazier is in 8th position.
Again, that's a pass in the short shoot, Bob, and that's the short shoot describes itself. It's a short amount of time, and that's a good handling car.
And it's a very short shoot for an Indy car. It's a little bit longer than one of those Oldsmobiles we drove yesterday.
And we saw him
Buddy,
flexing his hands, yeah.
And Buddy always does that. You've got to relax out there. It's hard to relax at 220 miles an hour when you're in traffic. So anytime you get the opportunity, you try to flex the muscle.
That's Buzz Calkins that he is passing going into turn number 1, and Calkins driving the Team Can car is reported in 23rd position. Team Can standing for Cure Autism Now.